So again, welcome everyone. This is the Reducing Seismic Exploration's Footprint COSIA Land Challenge. It's kindly funded by Alberta Innovates, coordinated by COSIA, and Foresight is doing some of the facilitation work to make sure that it runs smoothly. Amanda, you can go to the next slide if you like. So the agenda today, we're going to walk through some introductions, let you all know who's behind this. We'll talk through specifics of the challenge. We'll explain the types of solutions that we are seeking, and then we'll explain how to submit your solution and open it up for questions. So pretty straightforward agenda. Introductions. And over to you, Dallas.
Okay, hopefully everybody can hear me all right. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for participating today. As was mentioned, my name is Dallas Johnson. I'm the director of the Land and Biodiversity program with Alberta Innovates. For those of you who are not familiar with our organization, we are an agency of the provincial government. And as our name suggests, we are tasked with supporting the development of new and innovative technologies and knowledge-based solutions across several priority areas, including health, smart agriculture, and clean energy. We work hand in hand with a variety of entrepreneurs and other stakeholders to provide grants for promising projects in these areas of interest. We also provide engineering and scientific support services for research and development projects through our two subsidiaries, Innotech Alberta and CIFR. One of the key objectives for the program that I manage, the Land and Biodiversity program, is to reduce the intensity of industrial footprint in the province, which is why we are really pleased to be able to support COSIA in this initiative. Reducing or eliminating seismic exploration footprint could contribute significantly to this goal. And I'm very hopeful that we'll see some excellent ideas surface through this challenge. Thanks.
Thanks very much, Dallas. Over to you, Jack.
All right, thanks, Dallas and Jacob. I'm Jack O'Neill. I'm the Director for the Land Environmental Priority at COSIA. For those not familiar, COSIA is Canada's Oil Sands Innovation Alliance. We are an alliance of oil sands companies working with scientists, academics, innovators in Canada and around the world to make Canadian energy part of the sustainable environment. COSIA's goal is to keep Canada as the global leader in clean technologies for oil production. COSIA is a catalyst for innovation in four main environmental priority areas, that being greenhouse gases, land, tailings, and water. This particular project falls under the Land EPA, and that's why I'm here. So through the sharing of expertise and resources, technologies, and even intellectual property, COSIA members aim to minimize land disturbances, reclaim land faster, significantly reduce greenhouse gas emissions, and significantly reduce water use, amongst other things. But those are some of the highlights. And over to you, Jacob. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Jack. So quick introduction on Foresight. Foresight is one of Western Canada's leading clean technology accelerators. We've been around since 2014, and we offer programming in British Columbia, Alberta, and now Saskatchewan, and hopefully soon Manitoba as well. The Alberta programming is delivered in partnership with Platform Calgary, so really grateful to be working with them. We really focus on three key areas: acceleration, commercialization, and positioning. Acceleration means training programs from the earliest stage to late stage Series A, B funding for clean tech companies. We now have 100% remote programming pivoting as a result of COVID-19, and that's been going really well. Commercialization is really all about innovation partnerships, which is exactly what this is. It's plugging SME networks into industry associations, industry networks, large industry, and government purchasers to help give our SMEs the opportunity to commercialize their products at scale. And that links into positioning Canada as a global clean tech leader. The more companies we have working in partnership to grow this market, the more likely we will be able to export our solutions which means more foreign exchange coming into our country, which is ultimately good for all of us. So that's Foresight in a nutshell. And with that, we'll go to the next slide. The challenge. Okay. I'm going to pass it over to Megan. Thanks, Megan.
Thank you, Jacob. Yeah, so I'll just give a quick introduction. I'm part of COSIA through the Expiration Footprint Working Group, and I also at Suncor on the technology team. And so I've been part of this challenge for a little over a year and a half now. And so I'll just give some background. And yeah, if there's questions, definitely let me know. So basically you can see in the photo here, this photo is from northeastern Alberta, Canada, and you can see that it's quite a lot of activity in the photo. You can see roads, and the key thing I want to point out too is the cut lines. So traditionally the energy sector has used these cut lines, which are basically vegetation-free corridors that are utilized to efficiently have seismic programs run. And really what it's impactful to be able to put out the tools that are utilized to require the seismic data, but also it's important to be able to have people access through difficult terrain. So it's really key to safety as well. So it's important for acquisition of good quality data as well as to access people in a safe way. So you can advance to the next slide. However, I think the big piece here is that research has shown that over time, the linear cut lines have ecological impacts. So legacy cut lines do allow wolves and other predators to move more efficiently over the landscape. And what this means is that they have a greater impact on threatened species, such as the woodland caribou, as you can see in the photo there. And really the goal of this competition is to identify solutions to reduce the boreal forest disturbance from seismic exploration in the oil sands region. As far as types of seismic exploration, current seismic exploration methods to evaluate the subsurface include fiber size and dynamite charges. Both of these methods generate seismic waves that then go into the ground, are reflected back, and recorded at surface by receiver equipment. And so we're looking at technologies that are within this space. And basically, this just is a high-level overview of that. So you can move to the next slide. There's also variability in the types of seismic explorations. Acquisition designs. So it's quite variable. You can have 2D, 3D, and 4D seismic exploration designs. And it's really the acquisition design that you're utilizing is really dependent on what the team is trying to image in the subsurface. So you can move to the next slide. And then finally, this just shows the evolution of the seismic programs. So historically, seismic exploration programs had corridors that were up to 8 meters wide, and they were cleared often that were quite large clearings that utilized for the transmit of equipment, etc., and people. And that has evolved through time. So now we're looking at line widths of 1.75 to 3 meters in width. And the goal with this challenge is really to continue to reduce the impact of that seismic acquisition on the surface. And so really that's what we're looking to do here. And you can move forward. So I think it's over to Jack.
Yes, thanks, Megan. All right, so here's a nice little graphic that shows you the evolution so far with our journey towards reducing seismic exploration. And we launched our COSIA Land Challenge back in 2017. And it's actually titled Transforming Seismic Exploration to Approach Zero Land Disturbance. It's intended to help COSIA members further reduce the footprint of their exploration activities. So in addition to this challenge, over the past couple of years, we hosted 2 exploration tools workshops. One was for the COSIA member companies to meet and discuss challenges and opportunities around near zero footprint seismic exploration. And then we had a public facing session last fall, the fall of 2020. So we also commissioned a report back in, back in 2019, and it was published in May 2020. It's on the COSIA website, and it reviews the exploration tools and techniques that support the land challenge. And it's available, yeah, like I said, it's available on our website, and it's really a good introduction and overview of the different techniques that we were able to find around the world that were at various stages of implementation. So the goal of this current competition is to build on our work and investments to date. COSIA member companies, along with Alberta Innovates, we wish to identify those technologies and techniques to help the COSIA member companies move towards near zero land disturbance from exploration activities. Next slide, there we go. So we're looking for a range of solutions from environmental, seismic, and other solution providers around the world. Our goal is to significantly reduce or eliminate vegetation clearing associated with seismic exploration. Solutions should be relevant to 2D, 3D, and 4D surveys in the oil sands region of Canada. Potential solutions include, and these were some of the highlight findings from our report, but shrinking the size of equipment and practices, leaving the ground and surveying from the air, going underground into existing infrastructure such as wells, and applying alternative seismic sampling theory. Next slide, please. So we're confident many of the innovative solutions we're looking for are already out there, being applied in other regions and other sectors such as hard rock mining and ocean exploration. Whether the solution is newly developed or adapted from another industry, we're looking for solution providers to apply these technologies to the challenges that we face in the oil sands. So we welcome applications from across Canada and all around the world, but encourage solution providers to consider the unique environmental challenges operating in northern Alberta, including our mosaic of uplands and wetlands, very harsh winter conditions, and high levels of tree cover. Next slide, please. At COSIA, we recognize that reducing land disturbance is an ongoing challenge. We require a range of solutions at various stages of development. So for this competition, our main focus is going to be on technology readiness levels of 7 and higher. They're ready for demonstration in an operational environment. We recognize that there's potentially promising technologies currently in development. So we're also welcoming applications for technologies at the TRL levels of 3 to 6. These may range from proof of concept to prototypes demonstrated in labs or simulated environments. So if you're unfamiliar with the TRL terminology, there's a great succinct listing of levels 1 to 9 and what they're defined as at the Innovation Science and Economic Development Canada website. And there's a link to that right on this slide here, or a simple Google search will get you there. Next slide, please. So we're extremely grateful to financial support of Alberta Innovates in bringing this competition together, and in particular for providing the prize money for the top solutions. The finalists will be selected once the submission window closes on April 1st. So we have a couple months here to get your ideas onto paper and submitted. We'll have the opportunity to pitch our judging panel, which will include COSIA members, in late April. First place solution will receive $10,000, and the second place will receive $5,000. Those are Canadian dollars. Pitches may also be open opportunities for potential future partnerships. So COSIA members interested in applying any of the technologies received to this competition will reach out to solution providers for further discussions. We'll hop on to the next one. So some items that will be especially important to present in your submission There's a picture of what the form looks like on the slide there. But the concept and basic unit operations, technical justification for your approach, the energy inputs, quantity and types, the capital and operating cost estimates, the basis of the cost estimation, IP status of the proposed technology, operating environment restrictions. And the application forms and some additional guidance are going to be available on the Foresight website immediately after this webinar. So the evaluation process includes the following: be an initial review by our friends at Foresight, and then COSIA will appoint a panel of independent judges to conduct a final review of the ones that have made it through the initial cut from Foresight. We don't know what the number of finalists will be at this stage. We're going to base that on the number of submissions. Finalists will be provided a list of questions to address during their final pitch session, and a 1-hour confidential finalist session consisting of a presentation with a 10-slide limit, and Q&A will be conducted with each finalist. And here's a graphical representation of the dates and timelines. So we view these as our milestones. So like I said, we have 2 months before the submission window closes, opens officially today. April 1st to 12th, we'll do an internal review of the solutions submitted. April 13th, the finalists will be selected. On the 15th, the finalists will be contacted, notified of the next steps, and then our calendars are blocked off for April 22nd and 23rd, where the finalist pitches to Foresight and the COSIA members will occur. And May 3rd, we'll select the winner, and May 18th, we'll do a bit of a splash with the winners being publicly announced. And that's all I have in terms of slides for now. Over to you, Jacob.
Thanks very much, Jack. That's a great overview. And we'll, as we noted, the URL here, foresightcac.com/COSIA-challenge. That's where we'll be posting the recording of the webinar as well as the submission form following this. We will be using the next window to really market the challenge quite broadly. And so if you have interested companies, interested networks, people you think would be wanting to hear about this challenge, please do get in touch with Amanda Lowe directly using the email below, or just email Foresight directly. We're certainly looking for solutions, as Jack mentioned, from adjacent industries and across a broad range of technology readiness levels, although obviously the preference is for things that we can put to work right away. So what we'd like to do now is move over to a Q&A format and really open it up for questions to the panelists. I think we can go to the next slide. This is a little... Thanks. Okay. Yeah, let's focus on the Q&A now. If you do have questions, please drop them in to the Q&A. And I see there's a question here initially for the team. What kinds of solutions are currently or have recently been tested in the oil sands region? So can you give us an example or a flavor of what you think are some of the things that are currently being tried in the sector?
I was going to pass that one off to Megan. Yeah, Megan?
Yeah, for sure. I'm just trying to turn on my camera here and it's not allowing me to. I don't know why that changed, but anyways, like to respond to the question. So there has been tests that have been done by the member companies through the Expiration Tools Footprint Working Group. A lot of these solutions have been focused on smaller source size. So miniaturize, that's been a theme. And I think that that's one of the ways that we can look at reducing the size of the corridor width is like reducing the charge size. So that's one of the ones that have been tested and is undergoing continued testing.
Thanks very much, Megan. It's a great example. Have you or the team thought of things that might not have been tested, but you think might be interesting ideas?
Yeah, so there was an Expiration tools literature review that was done. This review was quite extensive in terms of looking at different technologies, such as moving to the air, miniaturize, and a number of other ones. And you can access that report as well to come up with ideas. But that's definitely a way to utilize. It's a way to look at ideas to come up with this specific challenge.
Thanks, Megan.
Yeah, I just might want to add the COSIA members are looking for a suite of tools. There's no one solution. Every operation is slightly different. The geographies, the geologies are all unique, and each one will require a slightly different potential solution to be successful. So, we're going to be, we've been testing with a lot of different types of technologies out there, and we're actually trying to build a toolbox. So there's a number of different solutions available, and this competition here is just meant to be a bit of a prompt to incentivize creation or delivery of additional tools for our toolboxes.
Thanks, Jack. Yeah, that's helpful, I think, for the participants to understand that this isn't a silver bullet type solution, that there are a lot of different opportunities here to provide solutions for the industry sector. Another question from Don Lawton: would it help to have industry receptors who might be interested to test the technology? Megan, Jack, any thoughts on that?
I'm going to defer over to Megan for this one as well.
Yeah, and sorry, can you I'm trying to find the question. Can you repeat it? I'm just trying to open up the window.
Yeah, under the Q&A, it's, would it help to have industry receptors who might be interested to test the technology?
Definitely, I think that it would be helpful to have industry also look and come forward with opportunities to test. I think that could be an option for sure, brought forward to member companies and reviewed. And then if it looks like it's something that really has a good possibility, I think that that's something we could move forward to testing and piloting.
Thank you very much. Helpful question. Another question from Bill Mooney: how deep is the imaging required? So that's pretty variable on the target. So within the oil sands region, that varies, but for sure, like looking at over 100 meters, but you're going to be dependent on what you're trying to image in the subsurface. So it could be up to 500, 700 meters as well. Mm-hmm.
For those that are online, in the chat box, I've posted a link to the report we had commissioned by Fuse Consulting to look at different, to identify the different opportunities that are out there.
Awesome, thank you, Jack. That's the one I was speaking to, that has the different ideas that were put forward.
That's great. While we're waiting for any additional questions to come through the chat, I have a question. If someone is selected as a winner what can they really expect as an outcome, you know, in addition, obviously, to the prize? What sort of options are available to them in terms of deployment or partnerships?
Maybe this is an opportunity for me to jump in, Jacob, because I think our organization is certainly looking to find good projects that could benefit from our funding. So, you know, depending on the stage of development of the technology or solution, if there's an additional stage of research and development that a project can encompass, we're certainly looking for good projects to fund. So if something like that comes out of this competition, I would definitely be more than happy to have a discussion.
That's really helpful, Dallas. Thank you. And I think it just adds that sense of the scope of the opportunity here. Another question, which has been put in the chat, what is the highest frequency you would be after?
Yeah, I think that again, just dependent on the target. I don't have the exact frequency ranges that we're looking to gather. It's really just going to be specific to that area. But obviously, we want to have a solution that has technical quality similar to what we can already get with seismic data. And that's just really important so that as we're developing these resources, we're not missing opportunities. And also that, very importantly, we're developing them safely so that we want to make sure that that caprock is imaged in a high degree. And so we're definitely looking for good image data. I don't have a set frequency that would be needing to have.
Thanks, that's a helpful clarification. Great, well, we've got some good questions so far. I think we may have done a really good job presenting because there aren't too many more questions coming in, which is always great when that happens. One of the things that, another question from Don has come in. Is there a template for the pitch? I can respond to that, Don. So yes, we will provide a broad structural template, so a number of slides. And before you're selected as a finalist, the evaluators will provide a number of questions based on your initial submission. So you'll need to introduce your technology and then also respond to those questions as part of your pitch session. The pitch sessions, as Jack outlined, are a 10-slide deck plus then a Q&A session afterwards. And the Q&A is, I think, really the most interesting. The key is to answer the questions that the evaluators have put to you as a result of your initial submission. Thanks for that, Don. So one of the things that was interesting to me is that actually this challenge has been around for a little while. We're doing this sort of focus session to try and bring in more solutions. But I wonder if there's a sense on direction in terms of the progress in finding solutions that you've undergone to date, and maybe some adjacent sectors that you think might be interesting to have potential solutions. Megan or Jack?
Yeah, I thought, I think there is opportunity in other sectors. So in the mining sector, as Jack had mentioned, I think there could be solutions for imaging within the mining sector. So it'd be interesting to see what kind of opportunities come out of other sectors. Yeah. Jack, I don't know if you have anything else to add.
It's super tough to break out of the silos that you operate within. So having a competition like this is a way to introduce the concepts in terms of what we're looking for to other sectors. And if there's a nugget or a piece of technology that is out there that's being used even for a different type of purpose, if it can be combined with others and folks can collaborate and get together and put together a solution, then holy smokes, there might be something really useful there that we're not aware of yet. And that's one of the reasons why we're doing this.
Yeah, that's great. All right, so I'm not seeing any more questions come into the chat. I think that means we've done a really good job, and I wanted to thank the speakers in particular and the participants for joining today. I just posted in the chat here links to the challenge hosts if you'd like to learn more about them. Also the challenge webpage. This is where we'll post a recording from the webinar and also share the submission form and the key dates that you'll need to be aware of to get the submissions done. Amanda, could you actually bring up the timeline again for us just before we close? Yeah, so there we go. So you can see the timeline there. We're aiming to have the submission window close, or we will have the submission window close on April 1st. Finalists will be selected April 13th, pitches April 22nd, 23rd, and the winners announced on May 18th. So a fairly short timeline. If you are interested, we do encourage you to get to work on your submissions, or please reach out to us if you have ideas for people who you think should be submitting. We will get in touch with them and encourage them to apply. Thank you everyone for joining, and good luck.